All right, so we're on officially. We've got Periscope, YouTube, Meerkat,
All over it.
Pete from ETI Music,
Tarlee.
from. Do you have a business name?
Just at Tarlee on
Tarlee.
Twitter.
You don't
or
have a business
Instagram.
name? You
No,
have an
just
ABN?
Tarlee Recordings.
All right, Tarlee Recordings.
Yeah.
There we go. And Brody's over here. Jump in, Brody. Brody's the boss. He's curating to make sure we stick to our 5-hour limit. Cool. So I love doing these little interviews, and I've done another one earlier today with some rock royalty, and he's played all around the world and played in some pretty crazy bands. And his insight on stuff is really cool. So I want to, and he's just a drummer, not just a drummer. He's a drummer, but he's come from behind the kit to start creating some cool little initiatives. Yeah. And we talked quite a bit about. This interview is going to be all about what we talked about with him, right?
Yeah.
So his thing was, there's so many pieces to the puzzle.
Yeah.
And tarlee is one of those extremely, extremely important pieces to the puzzle. Because without tarlee, the sound is pretty average or non-existent. So thanks for coming out, Jade.
Thank you for inviting me.
You have an Apple Watch.
I do. I've got
I'm so jealous.
Yeah,
So-
geeked out.
So they say you don't make money as a sound engineer. That's proof right there. Cool. I like it. I want that.
That's good.
So the reason I wanted to have a chat with you is because we've only met twice. Last Wednesday.
Yeah.
And about a year ago when Justin Timberlake's band came to town.
Yes.
And we were looking for someone to mix the show that we put on. There is some footage coming of that, and that was an opportunity that I had to share some of the world's best musicians with other. I just want to get rid of that. Why it's going to annoy me all day. Done. So we had the opportunity to share some of the world's best musicians who get chosen to play in so many shows. Like some of these guys that were on that stage have played with Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson, Prince, Beyonce, Britney, Jay-Z, Piggity, Rihanna, all those people. And Justin Timberlake doesn't have to think about who he wants in his band. He just chooses. There's no budget, so I want the best of the best. And so the drummer contacted me. I don't know if you know the backstory.
No.
The drummer contacted me and said, "Hey, I play drums, and I play drums for a band called Tennessee Kids, and I'm playing in Justin Timberlake's thing." And this was about a month, not even a month, probably about 3 weeks before the event. And he said, "I'm coming to Adelaide. Apparently you're the guy that puts on clinics and workshops." I'm like, "Yeah, we do. What do you want to do? When do you want to do it?" He goes, "I'll be in town. I've got a night off. Can we do it on this day? Because you're the only town I'm not doing anything in." And I went, "Well, that's great, except for 2 weeks after that, we've got Prince's drummer doing a workshop, and it's drums. So we can't really have 2 drum workshops. It won't work. Adelaide musicians will just start crashing into each other, and things will catch fire." And so I said to him, "Why don't we do? We've done it before. We did it with Mark Shulman, who's Pink's drummer." I said, "Well, let's not just have a drum workshop. People do those, and you get more love and more excitement out of having the whole rhythm section."
Yeah.
So Mark said, "That's cool. Let's do that." So we had Pink's bass player, guitarist, and drummer. We sold out that show, and that was once again a week's notice. The Justin Timberlake thing. We weren't just going to have a drum clinic, and I said to Brian Fraser Moore, who's on the front of last month's Modern Drummer magazine. He's also touring with Madonna at the moment. He said, "All right, let me check with the band and see if I can get some people to come along." And he got back to me and said, "Well, the whole band wants to come except one guy." I'm like, "All right, how much more is that going to cost me?" So there was a change in the budget. Won't go into that, but I'm like, "All right, shit just got real."
Yeah.
Shit just got real. So it's not just a drum kit and some people. It's a whole production. And it was literally, we had confirmation, finalised everything on it was on a Sunday? It was on a Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday.
It was on a Saturday. We had confirmation Friday at about 11 p.m. that it was actually going to happen. We didn't actually have a sound engineer till the Saturday morning. Yeah. And the reason it was hard to find a sound engineer was because the desk and all the sound system that was at the venue was the new digital Avid L7.
Yeah.
wow, new stuff. So it's a completely different scenario to normal. It's not blind in, EQ, effects, monitor, volume, you know, and a few other bits. There's nothing like that. It's so different. And there was only about 3 people in Australia that knew how to drive this thing. 2 of them were in Melbourne, and Tarlee come to the rescue.
Hey, yes.
So, and she just, so this person sitting to my right here, amazingly has mixed Justin Timberlake's band.
Very cool.
In a blood, sweat and tears environment where it was on. It was stressful. They just walked in, all of them just come through the door and the whole vibe just changed.
Yeah.
It was just, oh my God, they're actually here. Oh my God, it's like royalty. About 3 months earlier, royalty actually came through. So we had Kate and the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge came through the building. That was exciting. Yeah. But this was far more exciting.
Yeah, it wasn't.
It was scary.
Not as exciting as the Duke and Duchess.
What?
No, I'm kidding.
No.
Justin Timberlake's
yeah, I know. Yeah. It was just insane. Like, and as soon as they walked in, the whole place just, it just changed. And that was just so amazing to be in that moment. And as they walked through, they met everyone, they shook everyone's hand, and they made their way to the stage. And then one by one, they got comfortable on the stage. And then they all just started playing. And they sound checked for about 10 minutes. And poor old Tarlee's behind the console, like, just making stuff happen, as well as, because you hadn't had that much experience on a desk either.
No. Well, I'd done training, my AVID certification training, because I was still studying as well. So
do you get an RPL now that you've done
that? I should.
Damn straight you should.
Fair. Yeah, no, not at all. So I'd read about and passed exams with how to operate AVID equipment, but I hadn't used that desk before. So I was reading manuals and cramming and watching AVID videos.
When did you got the phone call the night before, right?
Yeah, in the evening. So
Jesus Christ, man. So that is jump in and swing.
Yeah, and AVID's great with all of their gear because it's all similar and it runs, but with digital desks you can really railroad yourself if you don't know where things are going. And
From where I ran around in the room high-fiving everybody, it sounded great. But did you think that there was something? Let's talk about what was the worst part of that.
Okay.
Because I'm sure that was almost over a year ago.
Yeah. Well, the worst part for me is always I want to do a really great job, and I have my level of where I want to be, and having just studying and going in. The worst part for me was just not being like knowing everything instantly. I'm not at that point yet.
Yeah.
But the best part is thinking through it, and working it out and
problem solver.
Yeah, exactly.
There needs to be more problem solving things going on in kids' lives.
It's also a good part as well. Like I say, it's the worst part, but it's not the worst thing. It's good to feel nervous.
It means you care.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's just a stellar effort just to come and get dropped in the deep end with the world's best. It's different if you're mixing a local, not disrespect to anyone local, because there's some good musos as well. Yeah. But if you're mixing a local Adelaide band in a decent wedding gig or something, you know, the pressure's off a little.
Yeah, exactly.
It's okay, you know, so there might be something that happens.
Yeah. When people that have worked with like Michael Jackson and Prince walk in the room, it's just another ballpark.
But they weren't demanding. And I was seeing how they were interacting with you. And initially it was Brian telling Nick to go and speak to you to get more fallback here, less there, and whatever. Yeah. But eventually Brian just come and spoke to you. Yeah. And he had the microphone, and I was watching it. And I like to learn as much as I can from those environments. And so he was standing next to you, and he was asking the guys on stage what they needed more of, one by one, which is how you do it. Yeah. And because he'd never seen a desk either. Yeah. He had no idea. Yeah. You know, so and he's into tech stuff, and he understands big concerts. He knows that they get used. Give him a normal desk, he's probably fine. Yeah. But give him that. So he was able to convey what the band wanted to you, I guess, without everyone yelling at you. Yeah. He was kind of the mediator. Yeah, and great. I think one of the best things about that particular show, and I really can't wait to share the Q&A with you, you really get to understand how beautiful and genuine these guys are. Oh, absolutely. And I don't know, if you travel with a band, have you toured mixing?
No, I haven't toured yet.
Right, that'll happen.
Yeah. Just
so when you start doing that, you know, and I know that you'll get the gigs for this, because it's not about how well you do your job, It's how well you become part of a team.
Yeah.
You've got to be in it.
Absolutely.
You've got to. It's probably 80% personality, 20% performability.
Yeah. Luckily, like a skill is kind of made up with enthusiasm and just like if you make a mistake, just getting in there. And
there's one thing
learning.
in life. There's one thing in life, and I got this from Mark Cuban. He's a super billionaire. You know, he's on Shark Tank and stuff. He said, "There's only one thing in life you can actually monitor and increase or decrease, and it's not taxes. It's not all that because that's out of your hands, right? It's effort.
Yeah.
You can only put in as much as you want to put in.
Yeah.
If you don't put in the full amount of effort, then you're not going to get the same result as if you were to put in a shitload of effort.
Definitely.
You know, and you're running around town doing all these cool little gigs and building up some amazing, incredible stories and a plethora of bands that you've mixed. And that's cool.
Yeah. It is. Yeah, it's really cool.
So
it's cool to be a part of things.
Where have you mixed? Tell us all where you've done some stuff.
Well, I've got a show coming up at the Gov next weekend, which is like a local Adelaide. Yeah.
The big room.
I think it's in the big room. I'm waiting on some information.
Okay,
still.
right.
So I think it's about 3 or 4 bands, and I'll be there for the night.
Nice.
That little thing that's going on. I'm a casual at the Festival Theatre, so I've just helped out recently with some Oz Asia stuff.
Very cool.
Just doing some little panels with people talking, and I'm kind of new there still, so because it's a theatre, it's like you really learn the ropes and no mistakes allowed.
Mistakes happen.
That's it. And I've done some work experience at WOMAD actually,
Nice.
which was really good.
Did you do that through?
Through Novatech.
Yeah, cool.
So that's like the
they're
big
great.
sound company.
They are. Their logos are on a lot of things at the moment. They're really trying to push and support local stuff, and they're doing some great work at the Bridgeway, which is where we had our show. We work with them in a corporate aspect as well as music and production, and they grew up in the same suburb that I grew up.
Yeah, right.
You know, and they went from Menk and Lako, the two brothers. Menk was a DJ, Lako was the booking agent. Yeah. And they bought some gear, and they started hiring out gear to venues because the gear that they had was better than what they had in the venues.
Yeah, okay.
And then $10 million a year later, that's the business that they run.
And their business is incredible.
It's amazing, and they're so creative, and they're just good dudes to work with, you know. And I think the culture of, once again, the band stuff, the culture of the band, and the culture. If you get one poisonous person in that vibe, in sound engineering, a sound engineer could absolutely ruin the whole mental status of a band just by the attitude. Yeah. You're not even in the freaking band. Exactly. You can just say like, fuck guys, I'm running late. All of a sudden, the band hates you. Yeah. So they're not going to be your friend. Yeah. And you need to have that connection. It's so important to happen. That's true. So that happens with any team. You know, people are people. We do some corporate stuff, and one of the things that we try and teach organisations is when you employ someone, make sure you let them know that they can be themselves when they work for you. Yeah. Don't leave your baggage at the door and be someone different, because that only lasts so long. Yeah. You know? I agree. Keep it real. Keep it real. And the sound engineering stuff, there's so many people that go out and have a crack at it. Yeah. And some people think they're better than they are. Yeah. Until everything starts to feed back, and that'll be, you're only as good as the highest pitch of feedback that you supply to the audience. That's a good one. What's your most disastrous? Oh. Speaking about being good, let's be humble and. Okay, most disastrous gig that I've done. Yep. Well, I don't know. Nothing's gone too terrible. Yeah, I hope I don't jinx myself for next weekend. For me, it's just more. What's the biggest worry then? What could go wrong? I guess like everything shuts down, nothing works, it goes dead, and everyone looks at me. Have you been to gigs when that's happened? It has actually. Yeah. I've been to 1 or 2 before where that's happened. Big gigs? Like a few hundred people. Okay. I won't say which venues because that may be rude, but so that's a worry. Yeah. And just mostly, probably my biggest worry at this point is just that I leave a good impression, that when I work with someone, I'm like a security blanket, and they feel that, Tarlee's here, she's beautiful, she's gorgeous, and she does the job well. Yeah. So. Great. And my granddad used to say, and I think everyone's granddad used to say, is always leave a room not just the physical room, but the people in the room better than what it was when you got there.
Yeah,
Mark
absolutely.
Shulman says the same thing. Always add value, and that value should remain when you leave.
Yeah.
So that's important, you know. And as a people person that you have to be in the music industry, it's so important.
Yeah, definitely.
There's a couple of big dilemmas that I saw at a gig when I was about 16. My drum teacher and I went and saw Dig play at the Space Cabaret Theatre.
Yeah, yeah.
Dig is my ultimate favourite groove drummer. Is the guy that influenced me to play drums, and that's a whole different story. You can see that interview on etrmusic.com with Terry Richmond and myself. But the story is, I was at Space Cabaret Theatre. I'm sitting in the perfect location. I could see everything that's going on. They got about halfway through the first song. Sound.
Yeah.
I fucking loved it because it was drums and saxophone for an hour and a half.
Okay.
And they were my two favourite instruments, and it was just the show must go on.
Okay. Yeah.
Until they figured out what it was, and all it was they hit the SPL level and stopped the sound.
Cut it out. Yeah.
And they had to get someone to reset or wait some time because they have a lot of noise issues. And it was just mixed by someone that just wanted to push the boundaries, and it was an outsider. He didn't know the vibe, he didn't know the room, and that's important to know.
Yeah, definitely.
So it wasn't to any disrespect to the Space Cabaret Theatre in Adelaide. It was someone thought they knew how to run the stuff, but they didn't.
Yeah.
They pushed it too far and it stopped. But it was still amazing because it was drums and sax for all the acoustic. You can't play guitar because it's all electric. Keys are electric. Bass was electric. But Sam Dixon was in that band. He's now the guy from. He writes music for Adele. He's an Adelaide boy. He played with Swoop for a little while as well, and then went off and he writes, co-writes, and plays and performs with Adele.
Wow.
Adelaide guy.
Yeah.
So he's coming back. We're going to induct him into the AMC Hall of Fame. You know that program that's happening here. Yeah. So that was one disaster. There's always a disaster waiting to happen. Sometimes there's more that happens that you just don't know about.
That's true.
As a punter going to see a gig, you walk in at 7, the show. It'll all join itself together at some point.
There we are.
All right, and we're back. But
Okay.
Meerkat
Still
survived.
Still going.
The live YouTube stream survived. There was a thing that happened at. I'm just about being honest. I'm trying to hide anything from anyone. Susie Quattro played a show at Thebby Theatre. Yeah. One of the biggest performers ever, which is massive, and she did one show at Adelaide. Fortunately enough, I got the gig to be the drum tech for the night, and I got to hang out with them, and it was just amazing. The before antics, the after antics, the onstage antics was amazing. And one of the things that happened was everyone got there, they did their sound check one by one. So it's drummer gets on, he plays, and they get the fold back level. So the drummer plays, everyone's at their stations, and the guitarist will say more kick, less snare, whatever, and they do that to everyone. And that process takes about 3 or 4 hours. Yeah. And they got it all right, and then all good. And then all of a sudden you start hearing a little bit of feedback, and it was a low end. And then it just become, a bit more low mids, then high mids, then highs, and then just everything, every level in the space of about maybe 15 seconds. Yeah. Everything was full blast, fold back, monitors, just full feed, everything. Yeah, okay. And the guy on the sound desk on the side has toured with this band. They've already done 28 shows around Australia. Yeah. Same gear. They didn't use any of the in-house stuff. They used their own gear, so he knew it all, and that's the reason he used it. Yeah. And he's like, all right, I don't know which one's feeding back, and everything's muted. Delete that bank, delete, plug out, shut down everything. So 6 hours of sound check disappeared. Yeah. And the show, this was like getting close to 5, and the doors open at 5:30 or 6:30 or something. So it had an hour. So within that hour, they had to fix the problem, find a replacement, whatever the problem was, because at that point they didn't know. Yeah. And then probably do another sound check. So, and I knew what was going on. I can see that some shit's going to get real serious now. Something's gone on. That Susie was there. She had no idea what was going on. Everyone's running around on stage like this trying to figure out what's going on. And all it was because they use their own gear and it comes with them, this stuff just happens. It's made not to break, but something does break sometimes. And it was just a little control board that dropped out of its little bracket and come unplugged. Yeah. That was it. There's nothing anyone could have done to have solved that problem there and then. Yeah. But because Novatech run the stuff there, and they've always got stuff on the side, and they've always got a plan B, and that's one of the good things about that company. So they went, all right, get rid of that one. We've got something similar. We'll plug it in. We'll run it with you, so it'll be fine. By the time they had that sorted, the doors were open.
Yeah.
There was no sound check. So these guys are so pro. There was no stress.
Yeah.
It was like, well, that's the problem. Here's a solution. We can't fix it. Let's just move on.
Yeah.
So the first song was that was the sound check, you know. And these guys were like, you know, I struggled because there's a lot of sequencing and it's a big stage, and you can't hear anyone's live sound. You can only hear their stuff through reproduced monitors. So, and I could tell it was a little off, but the people that were there, the punters, had no idea. I only knew it was off because I just saw what happened.
Yeah.
But the vibe didn't get frustrated, didn't get upset. It was like, we'll fix that with this.
Yeah.
And we can't do a sound check, so we just have to make sure that we're really on our game for the first two songs. And
that's the ultimate level. That's how you
that
want
is
to be.
it. Persevere.
Yeah.
Persevere with what goes on. Whatever gets thrown at you, there's a way to overcome it. And I've seen other musos in that situation, not at that ultimate level, just lose their shit.
Yeah.
You know, and they're like, can't do this. I'm leaving. You're out. Can't go because you've got a contract. You've got to perform.
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
and then it's not about the performance. It's about the egos and you know, you can't do this to me because I'm not, you know, I'm famous and I can't have a bad gig. I've seen drummers walk out of gigs with the drum kit they supplied. The logos on the drum tom wasn't at the top.
Okay. Gosh.
And he's travelled from all over the world, and
Yeah.
in order for me to put on a good show, I need to have a perfect situation, and the situation wasn't perfect, so I decided not to play.
That's unreal.
That's
Yeah.
fucking bullshit. That's what it is.
I'm fortunate I haven't
Yeah.
really seen too much of anything like that yet. But one of my first lots of work experience I got to do was at WOMAD Adelaide, which is a huge festival. It's a well-renowned festival.
Totally. Great vibe.
Yeah.
We talked about that in class.
We did.
Or with the other guy,
yeah, and I was really lucky because they, I'm just like some work experience kid, and they actually let me join in and patch stuff. And
who were you with? Okay. Who was on the desk? It's a whole heap of them.
Yeah, and everyone has nicknames.
They do.
That's
so
the issue.
when my partner Michelle started doing some work with them in a corporate capacity, like Saka and Harley, and they're all nicknames. They don't actually have real names. They don't know their real names. I don't know their real names.
Yeah.
You know, I hang with the guys a little bit. And, but they're very helpful.
Yeah.
And they're calm in a crisis.
And that's the thing I learned. I actually just remember being at that gig, and it was like Arrested Development were headlining the night show.
Yeah, I was at that one.
And they had their, I've actually forgotten who was doing the monitor mixing, but it was a Novatech guy. And he was just so calm, never has obviously mixed for them before, has just come into an hour for sound check, done it all. And I just remember watching it going like, that's the level I want to be at. I just want to know my way around a board. Be calm, be helpful, and people at that level, musicians are always just like please and thank you, and no egos when there could be.
Jimmy Cliff's the year before, Jimmy Cliff played. You know, he's the guy who did I Can See Clearly Now, right?
Yeah.
So huge show, massive band, like 13-piece band. Who coincidentally, Jimmy Cliff's coming back to play the Gov with like, you don't go from WOMAD to the Gov. What the fuck is with that, Adelaide? But so he came out. His band came out, and I was just watching the drummer have so many problems with the drum kit. Things were moving. Rack tom fell off the mount. The cymbal lug come off, and then the cymbal fell off. And this is all just during their first song, which was their sound check.
Okay.
So not only was the drummer getting a bit pissed off, you know, because he couldn't get the attention of the guy that he needed to help because they were trying to get the monitor done.
Mm-hmm.
So they were just looping like 8-bar phrase until they got everything right.
Yeah.
And one guy would come out with a mic and he would listen to what someone was telling the bass player, say, we need more of this, and he would relay it back.
Mm.
You happy? Yep, good. So the live sound check happened, but it was still entertaining.
Yeah.
It was still building it up. It's like when James Brown has his, you know, the guy that does the whole hype man stuff before James comes out, and that was what it was like.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Cliff, James Brown in the same kind of space where, you know, the band is just as important as the entertainer. So the band were doing a really cool job. And then when Jimmy Cliff came out, it was ready. It was perfect, and just let it rip.
Yeah.
It was so cool. And once again, it's the calm in a crisis. There was nothing wrong. Even though the drum kit started falling apart around this guy in the first song, purely because someone hadn't set it up right, and the drum tech hasn't been a tech. He's just been someone who's set up, maybe a work experience kid or something. You just don't know stuff. Now you as a drummer, after 2 years of playing drums, we had the chat in a second ago. Tarlee's just started playing drums because she couldn't get the mix right for a drummer, so she started playing drums. So, love to hear more about that. So now if you're setting up a drum kit, you don't go in there before he's finalised his setup and start putting mics everywhere.
Yeah.
Because he's going to have to move them, and he might not tell you that the snare was in the wrong spot to start with, and he's dropped the snare, and now you've got that much gap between the snare and the mic instead of that much.
And you always want to work around what's comfortable for the musicians. You don't want to be like, don't move this is where my microphone is. You want to make sure they can play and it's not in their way.
My opinion is I like the clip-on, so I can instead of having a boom stand, you've got to move two things. You've got to move the tom and the stand and reposition the mic, which is kind of your two-person job.
Yeah.
But if I get a little bit uncomfortable with the way the kit is, I can move the tom and not move the mic.
Yeah.
So that's a bonus of having those things. And there's pros and cons.
Yeah.
You don't use a clip-on usually in a recording a studio scenario. I don't know, why is that? Most people use stands. You tell me why.
Well, there's no right or wrong way really to record. I think that's the point of recording, is that it's all trial and error if it sounds good.
Yeah.
And you like it.
True. Because I think having the tom, the mic mounted to the tom, particularly a floor tom, it resonates and the mic resonates, but the things are built so well to overcome that.
Yeah, exactly.
I did a recording with a guy a little while ago, and he's a bit of an amateur. And there was a buzz. I knew what it was. He's like, "Your toms are rattling. Tom's rattling." I said, "It's not my toms, man. I'm telling you. Come in the room," because he can only hear it through the monitors.
Yeah.
So come in the room and have a listen. Tell me where you think it is. So I'm playing, and I knew exactly what it was. It's like, it's not there. It must be the mic cable. So replace the mic cable because it's kind of like a crackling kind of vibration at a certain thing, only when I hit the floor tom. So replace the cable. Wasn't that? So maybe the stand's loose. It was on a clip-on.
Okay.
Maybe maybe it's tightening that up. Obviously, I wasn't hitting it when he was moving it.
Yeah.
And when he replaced the cable, it was still there. So I'm like, Well, watch the mic when I hit the tom. Just watch the mic. The end of the mic had just come loose.
Yeah.
And that's all it was.
You got to
one
check
turn.
all your sound sources.
Yeah. So now, hopefully, he's not as much of an amateur because of that one little thing.
Yeah.
The Shure SM57s.
Yeah.
They've got their little.
They do.
Why?
The capsule. Yeah.
It would take them up.
Yeah.
It's just this one little thing that I'm sure there's a reason for it. If anyone knows the reason why those Shure SM57s have the end, the capsule that spins at the end is loose. So.
I mean, I've never seen anyone remove it or record without it on.
Yeah. So I just put some tape over it because for me it's another vibration. And the microphone's designed to pick up vibrations. Yeah. That's why you're listening to us right now because of the vibrations from my voice going through those beautiful speakers. And microphone's no different. If we had we've got nothing here fancy except for an iPhone 6 Plus, an iMac, a MacBook, and then we've got an iPhone 5. So I like iPhone stuff. They run my life. So there's nothing fancy here. Maybe we could upgrade and have a proper studio where it's all set up. We've got a light box over here. If you have a proper studio set up with a nice microphone, you might be able to hear us better. But right now, it's not so much about the clarity of what we're trying to say, it's the clarity of the information we're trying to give you and share. So the conversation, if you've just joined us, is about what it's like to be part of the music industry, not just a musician, but now you are, so you kind of jump the fence a bit. But as behind the scenes, sound engineer, sound guru. Putting it out there and mixing one of the world's biggest bands. Yeah,
that was super lucky.
Oh no, that's so cool, man. I'm so proud of you. Yeah. It's a hard thing to do, and I didn't have to play. Actually, I did get to play drums with them, and that was just such a humble experience as well.
Yeah. It was cool just even seeing all the musos come in and have this massive jam.
Yeah.
And it was one of those, like, you didn't know who was going to sing next or what microphone was going to be where.
Yeah, and there was like 4 wireless mics.
Yeah. But it was just so cool. Like, it's cool to see so many people come together and play together. And
what's your next biggest thing? What do you want to achieve in the next year?
Oh, okay. Well, I'd like to get better at live sound and just be able to think faster on my feet and be that sort of person.
Live sound as in the engineer or the setting up?
The mixing, setting up.
Do you do both?
Yeah.
Sometimes, like particularly Novotech lads, the guy who does the mixing doesn't do any of the bouncing.
Okay.
Because he'd be there for late night.
Yeah.
And he might do the bounce out.
Yeah.
But you generally don't do both. So if you could have someone that, like Brody, for example, would go in and set up the mic for you.
Yeah.
So you're not there the whole time, but he needs to set them up how you require them.
Yeah.
So then you can just know that he's done his job right, and you can focus on the mixing.
Yeah.
Because if you're doing it all.
Yeah, it's a long day.
Yeah.
But I find it's good to be there as well for me at this point, because then I'm seeing how everything's set up. I know where I'm sending things and where they're coming from. So I have my head around the signal flow of the room.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you use any devices to track? Do you EQ the room from like there's heaps of iPad features and stuff these days? Do you use anything
well, mostly I've just been using the desk.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the moment.
Do you do like the squealy thing at the start? And you tune the room?
Tuning the PA. For the room.
The squealy thing, I said. Was there an name for that?
Well, squealy feedback if it's going wrong, I guess.
The squealy thing.
And then digital desks are really good with all your onboard EQ and compressors and plugins and all that.
Yeah, like just bounce it straight out to a computer.
Yeah, and have a live recording. And
that's a value add. That if you can get your head around a live desk and you have a spare computer and you plug in, you do a live rip, and then you are able to supply something of the live event in good quality recording. That's a value add, man.
Definitely.
That's you can charge a little more, or you can just get more gigs because you're offering the service.
Yeah.
But then you have to be a good, quick, efficient sound engineer or a post recording master.
Yeah.
Because it can take you another 5 hours to record half hours worth to edit.
Yeah.
And mix half hours worth of music.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely with live stuff. You just come in, you mix a show, and it's done.
Mm-hmm.
But if you take a recording, then you're going to labour over it for just weeks on end, trying to change things. Or, yeah.
There's with having to play, with getting to play in some pretty cool venues around Adelaide for the last 20 years. There's a couple of venues that stick to mind, and I will name the venue. I went to play at PJ O'Brien's on my electronic drum kit, and I set up my kit, went away and had a Euros, as you do, just around the corner, with the band, and I came back at about 10 or 9:30 ready to play, and there was a microphone on my hi-hat. Go back to the second ago where I said electronic drum kit.
Yeah. I've seen pictures like that on the internet, but I
one of them's probably mine.
thought they were made up.
This guy's been mixing in the same venue. He's actually not there anymore, some family reasons or whatever, but it was okay. He's a nice guy to talk to. You get him talking about Frank Zappa and he'll talk to you for hours. Other than that, he was just there doing a job, and he must have just been, and he's going through the motions. Another night, another band, I need microphones. It wasn't there. It wasn't just like he got moved. He got the stand, he got the mic, he plugged it in, and then he realised. But he left it there. So, to my benefit, I took a photo.
Yeah.
And, it's probably one of those
probably
ones.
one of the ones I've seen.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And
have you seen the one where they've clipped the mic onto the hi-hat stand as well? So there was a normal hi-hat, so it's an acoustic hi-hat, not going to be a metal one or a rubber one, but they've clipped onto the tom mic, clipped onto the snare, and they've clipped onto the hi-hat, clipped it on. So, and I know that was you.
Yeah, no, it's definitely me.
So there's always funny stories to have, but just don't be a story that it's going to cost you business.
Yeah.
I say that to anyone that's an engineer watching or a musician that's watching. There's always stories happen, whatever. But if they happen often, you're only as good as your last gig.
Yeah.
And Adelaide, particularly, is such a small place. Everyone knows everything about everything.
Yeah, definitely. And I think as well, if you make a mistake or if you don't know how to do something, actually say to someone, I don't know how to do that, or how can I stop from making that mistake again, instead of just pretending
how can I?
you know things.
I can't because, and then the words that come in after the word because are more words that are going to stop you from achieving what you need to do.
Yeah.
And I talk to kids about this all the time. I can't do it. Why? Because blah 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 blah. So all those words you've just put, they're now helping you not make that groove happen or whatever.
Yeah.
So you change that into how can I? How can I do this? Why do I need to do this? So, and how can I? And that can I is C-A-N-I, constant and never-ending improvement. So we write this stuff out for these kids, and they kind of get it most of the time. You just change your mentality. Like don't think it's a matter of I can't. There might be someone who can do it better. Find them and ask them.
Yeah,
I would never even think about engineering a gig. I've been asked to do it. Sometimes I get put in the hot seat because someone hasn't rocked up, but I can't mix a gig and play on the drums at the same time.
Yeah.
It's not what I'm there to do.
Yeah, exactly.
But if they need someone to do it, then I'll show someone how to do it, and then it's their fault, not mine. but it's my fault because I'm not doing it. But then if I do that, who plays drums? And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh. So most of the time I just don't let people know that I know what I'm doing. I try not to. I'm a drummer. I don't know anything about anything.
Yeah.
I'm just here to hit stuff. And you get away with that. But happy to help if I need to. But that's why we have beautiful people like Tarlee that can do the job and do it well, so the musicians can do their job and do it well. And reliability is definitely a factor.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
You've got to be at the gig.
Yeah.
You've got to be at the gig early. You're there first, you're there, you're last to leave. And, don't think about being somewhere else when you're there.
Yeah, certainly.
How would you go about getting more work? What do you do?
Well, I'm pretty lucky. Like, I find if I mix a gig for friends, it leads to another gig from other friends.
Cool.
A few people that I've recorded just while I've been studying have come to me and said, "Oh, we need an engineer to mix our live show from a free recording I did." And then that leads to paid work.
Yeah. You can't run around doing free ones all the time.
Yeah,
but it's okay to do a couple.
Yeah, I think it's okay when you're gaining something like a mentor or experience out of it.
The sweat equity is an investment.
Yeah.
And you're investing your time to learn some stuff, and
Exactly.
there's no better way to do it than do it.
Yeah.
You can't learn it.
That's
you
right.
can read it, you can study it, until you're actually doing it and being put under pressure. So that always go back to the JT thing.
Yeah.
No one has ever learned out of everyone. If you started a course 10 months earlier and you had 2 months to go on the course, at that point you learned more than anyone else ever would do in that course.
Yeah.
And you were doing a course at that point.
Yeah, and even exactly after that gig, I literally went home
and cried.
And wrote, well, not quite, but I actually wrote down a list of things I need to work on off the basis of that gig. I actually wrote down some strengths and some weaknesses, and then because I was just like, I don't want to make the same mistakes again, or
mistakes.
Well, I just want to be able to, set things quicker.
And you're thinking, if you write it, though, you've got to remember it more. I like doing a lot of these videos, and just because it reaffirms the things that I've learned, and we learn more when we talk to people about what we've learned.
Yeah, that's right.
And I get to learn from people that might ask questions in these things and comments.
Reflection's always important, like an honest reflection of whatever you've done, I think. And then making a commitment to go and do something about it.
So is Adelaide your playground? Is that where you want to hang out, or you think there's more somewhere else?
Yeah, well, Adelaide's pretty cool at the moment.
Yep.
Yeah, I think maybe long term, I'd like to say future me will be overseas or doing something.
Whereabouts overseas?
I'm pretty interested in Nashville.
Yeah.
I'd like to go and have a look at recording studios there at some point. That's quite
a pretty big, diverse, culture of music over there. It's not just country that most people think. There's definitely a good pop and grunge scene in Nashville as well.
And the quality of the musicians and the recordings that just come out of that whole area.
All the Tennessee kids.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So,
Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah, I'd love to sort of pot around the world and do some studio tours and that sort of thing. Would be cool.
Have you been to many studios here in Adelaide?
I've been to our film corp, which is a film.
That's near Life. That's near Wizardtone Studios.
That's correct. Yeah, and I've been to Mixmasters. We had like a masterclass there that I was studying, which is cool because.
What did you do in the masterclass?
We just learned about like all these awesome mics they had, and Mixmasters is lots of analog gear, tape machines, which is a bit of an art in itself.
Totally.
Yeah, and I'm really interested in actually learning how to cut tape. They don't teach it in the course that I've done anymore.
Just Control C, Control V, or Control E to edit.
That's fair. So I want to sort of seek out some people.
Well, I'd like to talk to you more about that because I spoke with Ross at Northern Sound.
Yeah.
He's the engineer that works a lot with Full Toad Odds and a couple other really cool bands, and I really dig. And my only good album that I recorded was when I was 17, and that was on tape.
Okay, yeah. See, I don't know if it's a psychosomatic thing, and I think I like the sound, but I'm fairly certain I'm a big analog head, and I love my vinyl.
Yeah,
so
totally.
I'd like to.
That's one of the things in the last chat again. Going back to that because it was good. I want to record to tape and then press the vinyl.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and being able to master for vinyl as well. That's a bit of a dying art.
Well,
so they're the things I want to
If you want a playground, I'm happy to. We're playing in that space as well.
Yeah.
There are some guys that have done it quite a bit. PJ Merton.
Yeah.
So he was the original founder member or manager of the Hilltop Hoods, and he's done a lot of vinyl stuff.
Yeah.
He's got some crazy skills over getting that. Not mixing. He's not an engineer. but just the process of getting it done. So he's helping me with some of my stuff, and
cool.
as well as Gabs from Chapel Lane, because he mixed.
Which is the number one sort of studio in Adelaide.
Totally. Yeah, he mixed and got an aria for Flow Rider, and their sound is really grungy and dirty and gritty, and just I love it.
Yeah.
Really clean and open. Though it's not a grunge band; they're a soul hip hop funk band.
Yeah.
And just the sound is clean and beautiful, and that's all done through Chapel's Lane and Chapel Lane's desk, which is some fancy SSL thing worth like $900,000. It's the cleanest, quietest desk you can find in Australia.
Yeah.
And it's amazing to have that here. But I need an investor to go and use it.
Yeah.
Because it's not cheap. And good bands come from all over Australia, all over the world, to use that desk because it's the best sounding desk you can get.
Yeah.
I don't understand any of that. I've just been told that. How does it become a better sounding desk?
Or,
what if you get rid of the desk altogether and just go straight into the interface? No?
I mean, you're probably not going to get the sound through so just no.
Bloody novice.
Straight out no. Sound City's a good doco if you ever want to learn about desks and sounds.
Yeah.
And it's all the electronics and the way they're built, and it gets pretty technical. Like a lot of it's really.
I'm an electronic technician by trade.
Oh, okay. Well, it's probably not so over your head. I go to Audio Engineering Society meetings, which
is held here in this very building with a lot of old people.
That's it. Yeah, I think like the youngest person there, maybe in their 50s. It's like a sea of grey hair when you go in, and I love it.
They know their stuff. They know their stuff, and they talk.
It's so good.
They talk wavelengths and all sorts of crazy and new stuff that's coming out. And how do we get this sound from there to there without losing any data?
And they'll put like things up on the screen of the electronics of inside different amps and signal flows and all sorts of things, which you'll probably understand.
I'm going to start coming to that stuff.
Yeah, you should. It's good.
When is it?
Well, in Adelaide, it's the third Tuesday of every month. Yeah.
The third Tuesday.
Yeah.
Third Wednesday of every month is this thing from the last interview that I'm going to go and check out. And then there's some stuff happening on the first Wednesday that I need to be at as well. So everyone does this whole, I need to climb.
Yeah.
I have to go to them all the time.
Yeah. But they're great to go to, and they're great for networking and just. I just find every time I go, I learn something new, and then I go away thinking about.
Is it a free thing?
Yeah. Well, I sign up through the Audio Engineering Society website, which is international.
Okay.
And then I have Adelaide listed as one of my groups, so I pay an annual fee as a member. But you can always come along and check it out. They're not gonna, throw you away at the door.
Yeah, I know that they need to build up their base of people, so I don't want to be arseholes about it.
And it's just like it's so cool because it's such an old school way of meeting. 20, 30 years ago, people got together, they had meetings, they took notes, they discussed ideas. Yeah. And now we have a lot of social media, which is great, but people have lost the art of getting together collectively in the one room.
Totally.
So it's just dedicating that time once a month to do that with peers and people, and I love it. It's really cool.
Very nice. Yeah. So you're at the Gov tomorrow night, did you say?
Next week on Saturday.
Okay.
Saturday night.
And where else? What else have you got happening?
How
do people find you? How do people connect with you? Do you have a website?
I don't have a website.
Why not?
I know. I need
They're
to do
not expensive.
it.
Well, we put a video out the other day, and so if you like and subscribe, everyone should do this stuff. But there's a video we put on there about why people are not getting websites done because I think it's so expensive and so hard. Dude, it's not. It's so easy.
Yeah.
And I'll take you through the whole steps of getting it done. Then you can say.
I've got a website.
tarleeengineering.com.
Yeah, I will do it. It's on my list of things to do.
It's easy to do. It's easy to do. I've got to do one. I've got to get Brody one as well. So we'll run everyone through like a batch of. I'll buy a whole heap and teach you all at the same time, and you're on your way. It's easy, man.
Yeah. Okay. You can find me on. I'm on Twitter @tarleeann and Instagram @tarleeann as well. Yeah. I like to try and post things.
And there's a Facebook, of course.
And Facebook
is
as well.
Is there a LinkedIn?
Yeah, I have a LinkedIn. It's been a bit neglected. I need to maintain that. It is, social media. So, Tarleeann at something. Tarleeann. Yeah, @tarleeann.
Yeah. Awesome. It's been great having you here.
Thank you. Thanks for the chat.
That's all right. It's all right. I love doing this. It's just able to share someone from behind the scene with the skills.
Yeah.
And that potentially there's some other things that people can learn from watching these things.
Definitely.
One thing I'll say is, without sounding like a sexist asshole, you're playing in a male-dominated industry.
Yeah.
And you've got to step it out, because they're all going to be like, "Oh, well, she know." not
True.
they, not me, they. Because
Yeah.
it's equal opportunity, and you probably do a way better job.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Well, fingers crossed.
Yeah, yeah. But it's not a competition. It's like it's a set of skills, and our ears all work the same way, and the way we push our buttons work the same way. So
yeah.
But the crassness of some of the music industry and the musicians in the industry, it can be why it's more so male dominated than a female. But you know,
I agree with you. Just recently I went
really?
to
Someone agreed with me.
I know,
Holy shit!
Just recently I went to the Big Sound Music Conference, which is like Australia's South by Southwest, I guess. And someone, Jessica Hooper, did a keynote speech, and she's the editor of Pitchfork on just females in the music industry.
Wow.
And I sort of went away from that and thought, oh, I guess it's like I'd never looked at it as being an advantage to a point. Like it's good for female musicians to have a female tech and those sorts of things. So
there's a show coming up at Bridgeway Hotel on the 18th of December. It's called Young Guns.
Okay.
A friend of mine from House of Sat, Reno Cafone, is putting this show on, and the oldest member in any of the 4 bands is 25, and the youngest is like 17 or something. Yeah. And there's probably just as many girls in these bands as there's guys.
Yeah. And
it's really cool. So check that out. Bridgeway, Saturday the 18th.
Okay.
Youngguns.com. They've got a Facebook thing, but you know that once again, it's about music is music.
Yeah.
It's not gender bias. It's not.
That's it.
It's not a race bias. It's just music is music.
Yeah.
You can do it wherever you want to do it.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So you want to have a studio at home at some point?
Yeah. I've started collecting stuff.
Yeah.
I've got a room that I'm gonna kind of carve out and treat a little bit. Upcoming. I've recently boxed some things up. So
What you mean
plans.
like just shape the room properly for
acoustics?
Yeah. That's
Just
the first point.
make it a little bit better sounding to what it is. But it's an all double brick room, so at least there's that side of things.
That's cool.
Which is good.
That's just at your house and you've got a spare room.
Yeah, exactly.
Why not?
So started as an office and I think it's turning into a studio slowly.
Yeah, same. We've got my garage is like carpet and the roller doors never go up. And we've got a couple of desks in there, then a drum kit was set up, and then the electronic drum kit set up, and then we started having the film stuff set up with a heap of these videos. And then we had the lighting, green screen stuff going on, and it's all in one single car garage.
Yeah.
So you look that way, you've got drums. You look this way, you've got movie theatre.
Yeah.
Movie recording, video recording stuff, and then either side we've got our Mac stuff where Michelle works and I work, and then in the middle there's just crap and junk, and we've actually neglected that room quite a bit. We just go and do our thing and get out.
Yeah.
But it just got too messy to work in there, so I'll buy another computer and sit out in the lounge.
Yeah. That's it. Well, technology's so portable now, and like, why shouldn't you start something at home? And
and that's the thing. The good thing about the sound engineering world is your office is everywhere.
Yeah.
You don't actually have to go to work in a certain spot. I have some space here at St. Paul's, and I don't necessarily need to be here at all because my business runs from that phone. This one here that we're looking at, that's my business. I can do everything I ever need to do on that. And I learned that from a book called, I think it was Cash Flow Quadrant or Rich Dad Poor Dad. So Robert Kiyosaki is this crazy ass inventor that invented some crazy stuff. He runs a coaching program, which we've done the coaching program. That was very amazing. But he said you need to develop your business so it's with you wherever you are. You don't have to go to work to make it happen.
Yeah. So, absolutely.
And that's important. And as a musician, that is it. That is how it works. You might have some space at home where you can rehearse, but you can rehearse anywhere. But if you're selling jeans, you have to have a shop to sell the jeans from. Yeah. And if you move that shop, you've got to move that shop, but there's still another shop.
Yeah.
So I can go and sit in the park out the front here in the office and still do the same. We can do I've done these interviews wherever I've been, and I do videos from wherever I am. Yeah. I might have a thought, and I might want to share something, so I flip open the phone and do a quick video, which goes for 4 hours. But I could do that, and I don't have to go to a venue and set up stuff. And so just being able to do it and not worry about it, that's one less thing, because you just want to convey information. Right now, you're trying to convey the skill that you've got as a sound engineer, wherever you can do it. Spread the love across all the venues in Adelaide, so they know that you're the person that they can call and rely on.
Yeah, and the internet's flattened the world.
Yes.
So
the world is flat.
Why not? Yeah.
The world is flat.
Yeah.
Is it Christopher Columbus? He proved that the world was round, right?
Yeah.
Everyone said it was flat, so maybe he's getting proven wrong now. It's flat in a whole different.
Now it's flat.
That's right. I had a conversation with someone this morning that's in Bangladesh, and a couple of days ago I spoke with a drumming god of the world. His name is Don Famularo. He's really getting on board with our ETI Access program. And we spoke, and he was in his office, I was in my office, which was my computer, sitting on my lap on my lounge, and we had an hour conversation about the future of music education.
Yeah.
You know, and he's batting for us in his corner. I've been batting for him in this corner for many years. And yeah, it's flat. There's just making sure you get the time zones right, and that's about it.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's amazing. And half of the people that I've got to connect with has been purely through Facebook, sending a message or getting a referral to go, oh, I need to get the number. So right now I need to get the number of Victor Wooten.
Yeah.
Because I want to talk to him about some stuff. And do you know Pearl Tizzy, chick bass player? She's amazing. And I want to get her in for an interview as well, because she's playing in the in the space. She's just an amazing person, amazing musician, and she's just kicking some goals. I want to get her in. She went and spent like a month with Victor Wooten in Tennessee, awesome. in a boot camp thing, and she's just got some skills. So she'll be someone else to interview, to look out for. So Pearl, I'm coming for you. Who do you think I should interview? I want to start doing that. I want to start asking. It's like that bullshit ice bucket challenge thing.
Oh, yeah.
You know, who should I did it, but I think I was the person that single-handedly stopped the ice bucket challenge. Because I got all my friends and everyone did it, and it was a pretty cool thing, and if you find it, it's good. And I said, I would like to nominate absolutely nobody, because this is a crock of shit, and people are doing it just to get their face on Facebook to look like they're doing some nice things. Not actually donating any money. The whole idea about it was to donate money.
Yeah.
No one was doing that. They were just flooding the internet with people putting freaking cold buckets of water, which is actually not good for you.
Yeah.
The shock to the system can cause heart attacks and strokes, and it was freaking cold.
Yeah.
And I was literally stunned for like a second there, because we did it properly. It wasn't warm water like some of these other guys.
Yeah.
Warm water with a couple of bits of plastic that look like ice cubes, and it's horrible. So the point is, I don't know. The point was, who should I interview?
Ooh, just anyone.
Anyone. I want to try and find them, and make that happen.
You've put me on the spot now.
Anyone famous? Anyone anyone behind the scenes that you've worked with that has a good story? Your lecturers or?
Yeah, actually, one of my lecturers, Craig McCowart.
Craig McCowart.
You should interview him.
So he's the avid guy.
Yeah. So he does the training, and he gets to mix really cool shows. And
he's a guy that I guess his job, he has to be at the forefront of the avid stuff. Yeah. So when people like you or I come to him with a question, he's got to have the answer.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's just like complete gentleman, professional.
Okay.
Nothing's too big a task.
And you can give me his email address?
I can do that.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. He'd be cool.
All right,
to
cool.
chat with.
I'll give him I'll get his number. I just get straight to the phone number. Just give him a call and say, let's do a chat. You know? Cool. Because I think getting your head around it, wanting to get your head around it is one thing. But having a conversation with someone who has their head around it is.
And he's next level. I mean, he's really, really good.
Okay, cool. I went to an Avid launch when they launched Avid Live.
Okay.
And he wasn't at that, but that was pretty interesting. Where was that? That was at the Adelaide Film Corp, not where Wizardtone is. It's Adelaide Film Studio or something.
Okay.
The one on Fullerton Road.
Yeah.
It was there, and it was a cool little suite, and they had people there, like maybe 100 people, and they just launched Avid Live, which is just insane. It was just such a whole thing, and they talked about these consoles. And, you buy a console, had all these blanks, and you can upgrade just unscrew, plug in the software you'd run, and it's amazing. It's so cool. But the problem I've got with Avid right now is I've got an iMac 27-inch, and I've updated to El Capitan, and it won't let me import some stuff. There's probably other errors.
Yeah, I got caught out with that as well.
What are the other errors?
With Pro Tools.
Yeah, with in El Capitan.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm having trouble with getting plugins to work and that sort of thing. Okay. But I'm finding the software good. I knew I shouldn't have upgraded.
Yeah, totally.
And I knew it was going to come back to bite me, but I wanted to put it on there.
Yeah, so that's right. And I haven't upgraded this MacBook for that
as long
reason.
as you keep one, then you're safe.
Yeah. But on the iMac, I went, well, I need to do some stuff, so Reaper.
Yeah.
I've gone down Reaper. Reaper's like $90 a year or something, and it's always up to date, and it's sort of it's actually a really cool platform.
Yeah, I haven't used
I'm not endorsed by either. I don't get paid by Avid. If they paid me, I probably wouldn't suggest Reaper. But they don't pay me. I'm a free spirit. I can say what I damn well want. And Reaper's been really cool, and that's what we've used a few times. I've produced like 7 albums in the last few months, and that's what we've used to do it on, and it's really easy to get around. Pro Tools is easy as well, but when it doesn't work,
Yeah.
it hurts.
Yeah, it does. Digital technology.
Yeah, I know. But I'm sure that the guys at Avid are running around smashing their heads against the wall going, how do we fix this? And I'm sure it'll fix. It's probably a fix now. I've just been too naive to go and find it. But, that's just me. Anyway, that was like an hour of after. See you later. See you later again.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for coming out. Make sure you like and subscribe. You should have a YouTube channel as well, so then we can say that stuff to you. Just get on that stuff. Get on that.
I will.
All right. Now it'll take me half hour to shut down all these in any particular order. Let's say bye bye to Meerkat. Bye. Let's say bye bye to Periscope.